I thank the ranking member. Chair now recognizes Mr. Davidson for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Ambassador, you're here today. I just say, under your leadership, the State Department's implemented its DEI strategic plan last September, announcing that part of its implementation would be, quote, establishing the advancement of DEI as an element for all employees as part of their job performance criteria, career advancement opportunities, and senior performance pay. Why do you believe it is appropriate or necessary for every single State Department employee to be evaluated on advancing the DEI framework?
Congressman, thank you for the question. I do want to acknowledge the truth of what Congressman Meeks said, which is that this work started before this administration. DEIA, as part of the measure of being prepared for promotion, for leadership in our organization, has been part of our precepts since 2018. The prior administration had it included. It was not a standalone. It was woven in and among other aspects of good management.
Well, I'll grant you, I mean, some of the ideas probably go back to Rudy Deutsch and the long march through the institutions. But why do you believe it's important? I don't want a history lesson. I want to know why you think it's important that every single employee has this tied to their employment at the State Department.
Too many members of our State Department family have not felt the full value of their contributions, of belonging to our organization. As you know, we have a well-earned reputation of exclusivity, and that means excluding people. So everyone
I actually don't know that. Frankly, I think that the 14th Amendment is applied for a long time. We've had non-discrimination policies for a long time. We've had merit-based entrance requirements for a long time. Frankly, you were talking to my colleague, Mr. Perry, so he pointed out that since 1924, there's been a Foreign Service officer test. And recently, the department decided, yeah, you don't actually need to pass the test. Why do you believe that somebody that knows that this is a test that's required, that has all kinds of opportunity to prepare for the test, that fails the test, why do you believe they're probably still one of the best and brightest, maybe the right people to hire for the job, even if they can't pass a gateway test? It's supposed to assess merit, right? Were they messed up from 1924 until your arrival on the scene?
The test has changed several times since 1924, number one. Number two, as I mentioned earlier, there are many people for many years who have joined the Department of State Foreign Service without taking the test. It has never been something that every single person in the Foreign Service has passed or even taken. We've had a variety of ways of joining the Foreign Service. So this change allows a more holistic.
Okay, so you want to give me more history on it, and your change is holistic. You didn't talk about changing the test. You talked about it's okay if you fail the test. You didn't say we need a test that actually incorporates things that we're somehow missing. We've looked in the field, and apparently people don't realize that the State Department actually needs to be focused on accomplishing the national security interests of the United States of America. So we should laser focus it. You might use the test to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't pay attention to what, how many rainbow flags and BLM flags you can fly on our pole. You might pay attention to how that will play with the Vatican. Instead, you guys fly these flags at the Vatican. Did you coordinate with the Vatican prior to flying flags that are hostile to the doctrine of the Catholic Church?
The decision to fly or not fly a flag is a chief of mission decision, but we should remember that the written test is always been part of the exam, not the final.
Was the decision to fly the flag coordinated with the Vatican?
I will take that question back for the record.
Do you believe it should have been?
We are a sovereign nation and we make our own decisions.
Yeah, well, we have an embassy there where we're supposed to build our relationship with countries, and you see places like Guatemala or Hungary where The approach for the United States is focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Every kind of ideology in terms of LGBTQ plus spectrum that is hostile to the values of the cultures that we're trying to reach. Is that advancing our national security interests?
We adhere to our own values.
You got your own values, not America's.
America's values. When I say we, I mean America.
Gentleman's time has expired.